and we need more guidance from you in future. Now, without any further delay, may I invite Professor Mohanraj Gouli for your very short presentation, please. So, Professor Gouli is an expert and critic in literature, culture, and he is from Nepal Sanskrit University. And it was my pleasure to have him as, supervisor for my PhD project under that university. Over to you, Professor Gouli.
Okay, thank you all. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, can you see screen? Okay, right.
Okay, yeah, it's working.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for giving me this opportunity on this occasion. The teaching of the Gita, guidelines for the interfaith beliefs and practices. Okay, this the title is Philosophy of the Gita in Literature. So I have been teaching this literature of the world. Therefore, I find some similarities, not some, all the similarities of the Bhagavad Gita with the texts of literary books. Here, the philosophy of the Gita in literature, necessity of patience to achieve success and happiness. So this presentation attempts to explore some selected literary writings which articulate similar ideas. And I have selected chapter 2, two stanzas, 14 and 15. So, first 14 stanza. So, these two stanzas talk about one of the themes of this, the Bhagavad Gita. When Arjuna was confused at the time of war, there was Krishna as his teacher. He just tries to convince him to follow his teacher's teachings. He says, "O son of Kunti, the non-permanence he talks about here our happiness and distress are just coming and disappearing, like the seasons, winter and summers." Then he says, the best people are not affected by them, whether there comes misery or happiness. This concept is applicable everywhere, in any religion. There is no any boundary. Now, today's my presentation is how this idea has been carried by the great writers all over the world. And I have selected some 6 texts. First of all,
So, excuse me, Professor Gouli, I'm very again sorry. We can have more time next time. Next time we can have 2-3 days webinar. So, would you orally
okay,
summarize? Because
yes,
orally
I'm
summarize,
going to
please. We
summarize it.
cannot go
Yes.
through the slides.
Very good. Okay, what I found that in all literatures, the authors have presented the ideas that whatever comes in our life, whether misery or happiness, as the Gita slok 14 and 15 of chapter 2, they convey the meaning. We must not be overwhelmed with happiness or sadness. They come and disappear. In the poems of Shakespeare's, when icicles hang by the wall, the people have not stopped their work. They have continued their work in spite of severe cold. In the same way, in his another text, he has full Fathom 5, Thy Father Lies. There also he has told us that we must not be disappointed when there is a problem. Ferdinand's father was lost, but he listened to the song. Here, song is symbol of meditation. Listening to the song is symbol of meditation. Then, after some time, he survives, and after some time, he meets his father. In the same way, there is another text, My Heart Lifts Up When I Behold, by William Wordsworth. There, when he looks at the rainbow, he visualizes God, and he says, let me die. Nobody wants to die in this world. But when he saw the God, then he got everything. So it is a kind of meditation, yoga. In this way, all the texts, what we have found, they teach us about meditation, yoga. When we ponder our mind into the text, we experience a kind of yoga. And I want to give another example, then example will be finished. This Kalidasa's text, Meghadutam. What happens there? Yaksha was in trouble. He was banished by Kuber. Then he wanted to send his message to his Birhani, to his wife. But no one was there. So he began to communicate with cloud and he sends his message. This is an extraordinary communication between nature and human beings. And he says, cloud, when you go there, you are not alone. You are with other creatures also. He said, you are with wind and the birds. So what message we get from here is that we cannot walk alone. Like previous distinguished speakers said about the religious harmony is needed in this world. In the same way, this stanza conveys us that we are not alone and we have to work together. Universal truth is this. What he says, mandam mandam nudati pavanas chanakulo yathatvam Bama sayam nadati maduram chatakaste sagandaha garvadharana chara parichayan nunama bandhamala shevi sante nayana subhagam kevavantam balaka shevi sante nayana subhagam kevavantam balaka. In this way, all of the people in this world, no matter in which religion we belong to, we have to work together, respecting each other's belief, each other's religions. Then there will be harmony in this world. Now, final. If we cannot work together and if we don't have any patience, all these texts talk about the patience. If we don't have any patience, then we suffer in this world. For example, Sophocles' Oedipus Rex, there the king Oedipus suffers. He suffers because he lost his patience. Because of losing his patience, he killed his own father and married his own mother and produced some children. And at last he says, my own good snaps my patience. Therefore, patience is needed. And this chapter 2, 14 and 15 stanzas tell us that we have to maintain patience in our life to be successful. In the same way, in the text, King Lear loses his patience and then he suffers because he couldn't understand his two daughters who were very cunning. And he also couldn't understand the third daughter Cordelia, who was very nice. At last he suffers. Then there is a solution. Solution is that Leknath Paudel very beautifully has presented here. What he says, human beings are virtuous, wise, and smart. If they know this and practice in their life with religious harmony, interfaith harmony, then this earth would remain immortal city. He says whole earth is like a city. And he says, it's in Nepali, Guri ho gyani ho, bahut chaturo jati narako, सिपालु उद्योगी गुरु सदृशयो विश्वभरको जस्ता यसले त्यो परहित महामन्त्र महिमा धरिन्थ्यो पृथ्वीको अमर नगरी नाम बहिमा. Universal faith is here. So with this, I want to end my presentation with last paragraph. It talks about meditation. In this context, the Gita can be great source of guidelines for the interfaith beliefs and practices. For, as seen in above examples, the ideas of the Gita have been followed by every successful person and writers. At last, to strengthen our patience, we need to practice meditation. Among several meditations, transcendental meditation is the easiest and result-oriented. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Professor Gouli. Yeah, I realize next year we'll have a 2-day webinar. 1 day is not enough, I realize. Yes, of course. So, as guided by Professor Gouli, we'll have more patience so that we can bring this webinar conclusion together. Okay, I hope so.